Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another fantastic episode of Between Drops. I am your host, Ian Anderson, and we have a very special guest for you today for episode number 3. It is another pillar in our Hormesis community, and it is one of our recently crowned community queens. And so, without further ado, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Sarah. So exciting.
It's great to have you on, and I thank you so much. Yeah, your band went quick. Absolutely quick. I was on the snag for it, and it disappeared out of the cart before I could press press buy, but it's been really exciting to see people get excited about drops again.
Yes, it's definitely been exciting. For me, it was exciting to see some of my friends get it, but it was super exciting to also see the people that I've never met that were super excited to get my band and were like, this is going to be my forever band and going to keep it. And then even the ones flipping it, like it doesn't bother me that people are flipping it. And I've seen some of my friends pay resale to get them.
That's awesome.
You know, it's just it's kinda cool to watch the whole thing,
Yeah,
like, how it's unfolding, and
yeah.
I like that they made it a public drop. I definitely do. I think it's pretty cool that they made it available to also the public, not just where we get to pick our friends and only our friends get them.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanted some of my friends to get them, but I did also want them to be available for other people.
Yeah, and it makes it really exciting to kind of get back into the chase. I think I was talking to a couple other members and they're like, "Yeah, I set drop alarms. I haven't set a drop alarm in a long time." And so it seems like a lot of people are really responding well to this, like back to kind of how it used to be with the limited drops.
Yes, it definitely felt like we were back in the first year of Hormesis with the way those drops went. Well, and they're still going, so
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're calling from, what you do for normal job?
I'm from Houston. I live in Texas, it's already 100 degrees here.
Ooh,
Went to the paintball field and we were all dying this weekend. Couldn't wait to get in the swimming pool. Um, Also, I'm an EMT, so I worked in the emergency room for 9 years, but now I work in a mobile urgent care where I do things like I work with a nurse practitioner where I start IVs trying to prevent we do down to 3 months old, but it's mostly old people trying to prevent them from going to the hospital and stuff like
okay.
that. But if they absolutely need to go, of course, we call 911.
Hmm.
So,
That must be a super exciting job. I've got some friends that work in that career field, and you get some spicy stories.
oh, I've got them. There's so many there's so many things. I think my favorite one to tell is, we had so it came in as like this guy came in the front door saying someone shot his girlfriend. It was a drive by, brought her in. It actually turned out she was a hooker, and it was one hooker shot the other hooker. Like the
Oh
whole
my
thing.
gosh.
So the shooter showed up saying she got beat up, and when they pat her down, she had the gun on her. Had showed up, was gonna finish her off. Oh my gosh, the whole thing. It was
Holy
crazy.
moly.
We had to handcuff her with paper bags on her hands. I mean, there's so many of them, but I think
Wow.
that's the one that really gets people is when I tell that one.
Wow. So when you were an EMT, did they have you guys wear body armor? Or like did you guys wear a chest protector or anything? Oh man.
No.
Oh.
If
Um,
it's something like a shooting or something, if we're on the ambulance and it's a shooting, the cops have to go clear the scene first.
gotcha. It's
So,
crazy here in Delaware. I mean, we have a lot of volunteer firefighter departments, and then the only full-time people I think are like the EMTs. There's some firefighters that are full-time in the area, but a lot of them are volunteer, and then the EMTs that we have are usually run on a full-time occupation. But yeah, all the EMTs here wear uh, Kevlar. It's crazy, like
that would
chest.
be a nice thing. If I was on the ambulance, I would definitely want Kevlar. I don't know. Sometimes on my job, I want Kevlar because even though we're like a mobile urgent care, they send us into some sketchy places.
Some places where you
Uh,
just want to burn everything when you leave. It's just
yeah,
like, yeah, I don't want to touch any of this. I don't want to. No, thank you.
yeah.
All right. So, can you tell us a little bit about your first time playing paintball and a little bit about your paintball history?
So I started playing paintball. I guess it was like 17 years ago now, but I just played for fun, and I played with at the famous Tanks paintball when he was in Katy.
Okay.
So Tankers League. And we went I used to go there all the time. Tank sold me my first gun, which was a spider. But I got into tournament paintball about 8 years ago now.
Okay.
So I even played speedball when I played for fun, but like getting actually into the tournament side would have been about 8, 9 years ago now. And my first team was at Legends, and Legends Paintball. It's in Conroe. And there's a guy named Scott Perkins who's in our group in the Hormesis community. He was my first coach. And there's also a guy named Leo, and he is in the Hormesis group, and he also was like my first team captain. And we played our first our first tournament together. I ended up on the team 2 weeks before. I mean, it's a crazy story. I'm trying to think of a way to make it short.
It's
I
okay.
literally I literally went through a breakup and had to switch teams. And I didn't even plan on switching teams, but the field owner was like, "No, you're going to be on my team." He's like, "You've been practicing for months for this tournament, for your first tournament." He's like, "I'm not going to let you not play." So Tal
Yeah.
put me on this team with Scott and Leo, and I already knew them because I practiced at their field. And Scott and them were very accepting, everything. We won first place. We beat the team I was supposed to be on.
That's
And
awesome.
everyone else, yeah. So for my very first tournament, we actually got first place. So that
Wow.
was a pretty exciting. So I can't play like XCPLs are huge here in Texas at Paintball Fit. I can't play them because I have a first place. I've never been allowed to play them because I have a first place win. Stuff like that. Like it's like, but it's still it's really cool. So I never got to play beginner. I bumped to D5 on my first tournament.
Oh, wow.
So
That's awesome.
it's but it's pretty cool. I stayed in the D5 life until last year. I bumped to D4. I managed to I did it on purpose. Just played local tournaments that were like 30, 40 points, and then I would
Hmm.
work because I had to work in Excel for 6 years. I was a scorekeeper.
Okay.
So, I actually know probably a lot of this community from doing that. Like I've met everybody. I worked WCPPL also with Mike Hinman. I work Bunker Fest right now. I'm on staff with Chris Rangel. Um, I got promoted from scorekeeping. So
That's
I
awesome.
don't work in Excel anymore. I have worked in BPS also in Florida with Alex Udell. So I've been around quite a bit doing a lot of things and seeing a lot of people. I've known all the pros for a while. Um, Stuff like that.
That's really cool. Now, did you plan to get that involved when you started playing, or did it all just kind of snowball into what it is now?
It just kind of snowballed. It just kind of became a thing. So like I guess the best way I could explain it was like, so you know how everybody sometimes argues with the ref. I was known for being that scorekeeper that could talk people down,
Okay.
like when they were mad, like especially because for a while in Excel I was a semi-pro scorekeeper,
Okay.
so I had to deal with they're definitely the hardest teams to deal with because they're all fighting to move for one spot to move up. So when they get
Yeah.
angry, they get it gets hot. It gets hot real quick. And like there's a John Christ, he was from Wolfpack. I think he does the Padres now. He told me best. He was like, "Sarah, you're the person that's like the calm when the storm arises." He's like, "That's why everybody loves you." And it's like it's one of the nicest things I think anybody's ever told me. And me and John have been really good friends for a lot of years. I've had him from when I started on Tin Man, and he even tried picking on me, and I wouldn't take it. And he's like, "Okay, I think I like her," but it's like it's one of those things. But no, I didn't expect to ever become anything. I'm just one of those people like I want to be friends with everybody. Like even you. I was
Hmm.
when I first met you, I wanted to be your friend. Like
Yeah.
I'm that's just my personality. Like I want to be your friend. Like I'm not here to upset people. I'm not here to like deal with y'all being angry. Like let's all get along.
Yeah.
Let's all like
Absolutely. Everybody love everybody. ELE.
every right.
No, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And I mean, I met you at the Mid Atlantic event last year through the Champs
Right.
Club, and we worked the pits, and that was a really like eye opening. That was my first time ever in a pro pit, especially at an NXL event, and then to have them win on top of that, like it was a pretty crazy weekend.
It
Uh,
was. It was
and
10.
yeah, and it's really hard to top. And I ended up, funny story, I ended up buying a head wrap. I wanted a Scintilla head wrap, and I bought one from Yosh at the end of the season, and it ended up being the one that he wore at the Mid Atlantic event when
That's
they
awesome.
won. So I bought it from him, like, dude, because Yosh is probably he's been my favorite player since Ironman back in the day. And so I was like, hey man, not to be like weird, but just want you to know, like I was at the event and in the pits, and so this is like super special that I'm getting this. And so I mean, I think I say it every episode, but I feel like that's what makes this community so great. That's what makes the product so awesome is everyone has a different story and a reason behind the band.
Yes.
And, it could be a pretty common band, but it could have such a special meaning to, you know, a specific person. I think that's what makes it really special.
A- Absolutely. I mean, I can even say like I have two jerseys that are super special to me. I own a lot of jerseys. I'm a jersey collector. I started that towards the end of my NXL, but um, I have one, well, actually three. One Fuzzy Jackson brought me was my first jersey.
Hmm.
And it was when he first made Impact. So Fuzzy lives here. So he taught me how to tech my first gun,
That's
all
awesome.
that. So yeah, I was having a little bit of a depressed state, and he's like, "I'm gonna cheer up," and he brought me a jersey to the Sacramento Open. It was his Sacramento jersey, and he won that event. Then I won the medal that he got. I won an impact medal on Spick and Span from that event that
That's
goes with his
awesome.
jersey. So, but then in Chicago that same year, that was 2021, Alex, I had asked Frady to buy a jersey. He showed up and he texted me, he's like, "I'm in the booth." So I went on my lunch break and I tried to buy the jersey, and he gave me the jersey, and he gave me the first one of those bands from the Aces bands from the first round of Community Kings. So
Wow.
those Aces bands were for like to recognize people who didn't make it but still meant something to them. And so and I just cried because he wouldn't, and we took our picture, and that's that picture that floats around of me with Alex with the jersey, was that
That's
one.
cool.
And then at Cup, Mike when they won Cup, Mikey's mom, Urena,
Hmm.
she was like, "You have done so much for him." She's like, so it didn't even really come from Mikey, but it did. She gave me his Chicago. She's like, "I feel like you need to have one of his jerseys." And Mikey's mom gave me his uh his jersey, but it was what's funny is it's his Chicago jersey, which was my favorite of all their jerseys last year.
That's
And
awesome.
and he signed it, and I like it was just a big deal, and he was like, "I'm so excited she gave it to you. I wouldn't want anybody else to have it." And he's actually talked about, like, him and his mom, like, he's not going to be doing a lot of extra jerseys anymore and stuff like that. So I feel really special that I got that one because Mikey's worked a lot with me on the field because he lives here in
Okay.
Houston. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
so in fact, I I have to go meet him maybe today because I'm gifting him one of my bands.
That's amazing.
Oh.
That's amazing. That is awesome. And Texas is really growing into the mecca, like another paintball mecca. And it's amazing to see like it just become that hub. I'm hoping we're gonna be heading back um out west in a few weeks. Just to kind of help settle a couple affairs for my dad. But we're gonna be taking the northern route going out, and then we're gonna be taking the southern route, like 10, I think 10 coming back. So I'll be
Okay.
coming through Texas. So I'm gonna see what the route looks like and then kind of hit up because I'd like to try and play some paintball on the way back. So depending on what days those line up, reach out to everyone in the community and see, what
Yeah, let me know
where we're going in Texas, because that'd be super cool.
because 10 comes right through Houston.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah,
Super awesome. Yeah, that would be because especially now, I mean, it's been really amazing with this to just put faces to names. I mean, I've met you in person before, but some of the other people, it's nice to be like, oh, okay, now I know someone. So if I'm in that area, I'm just gonna hit you up and play some
absolutely.
paintball.
We even have places that are open during the week. So
Really?
let me know. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay, yep, absolutely. Because we haven't decided how long we're gonna be out in California yet, but I know we've decided because we're going to be traveling back with the cat. So we're probably going to take that southern route for sure, just because there's not a whole lot of elevation and mountains, and the cat does not do well when we get up higher in elevation. So perfect.
Understandable. Probably
Perfect.
hurts her ears.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We had to go through the Rockies, and the cat was not happy for about 3 hours. It was like
Yeah.
the longest 3 hours of my life. And CBD was like only fueling the fire. It was bad.
Oh, no, it wasn't helping.
It was not helping at all. Nope, not at all. All right. So, what was your go-to headgear before Hormesis?
So my go-to headgear before Hermesis was Banderas, made by Lucas Blitch. He was an ultimate for a little while at MVPS. He's one of my good friends. They're super soft. I think he still makes them. I love them, but they look kind of like, I don't know. Mine's gray with kind of a Western print on it. I mean,
Hmm.
I just love the way they feel. Like they're so comfortable. Like they're almost like with those blankets like you I don't even know how to explain it. Like I don't know. They're very soft. They feel like a felt, but they're not a felt.
Okay. Like a super soft, like fleece kind of.
Yeah, super comfortable.
Interesting. Yeah, I just ended up getting one of the Hormesis blankets, the spiral crux one that just dropped not too long ago, and it arrived while I was away, and so I just got home, and man, that thing is very comfortable. Not really the season for it right now, but the thing is super comfortable. Like it has that fuzzy underside, and then like the top of it almost, it reminds me of like when you get like the hide blankets because it's so like fine.
Yeah.
That is pretty crazy. So I'm excited for winter. Now I just want to get cold again.
I take my Hormesis blanket that we got in the Champs Club. I take it with me to all the events in the hotel room. So if it's too cold, I have it.
That's awesome. My wife's probably going to do that because she gets cold really easy, and so it's just like got to bring the blanket with you. It's
Yeah,
always
what
cold.
I like it cold, but that's because I want to use blanket. Ugh.
Well, for me, it's easier to stay cool than it is to stay, or it's easier for me to stay warm than cool. So
Yeah.
I would much rather it be a lot colder because it's easier for me just to kind of bundle up a little bit. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your experience being a community queen? And what was that like getting the notification that you were selected. A lot of other kings, like they saw the delivery notice in their email, but they didn't know what it was. And so they kind of got a little bit of a hint.
So I knew what it was when I got the email because I was in the second round, and one of my friends in the first round had told me about their experience with it, and they had how it works. So when I got the email, I was so excited. So excited. And I was like, I can't believe it. I don't know how this happened. I wanted to be home when the package came. When I opened it, I cried. I was happy tears, happy
Yeah,
tears. But I called my best friend. His name is David Flacco. He's actually one of the ones that posted in the group that I gifted him number two. And I asked him, I said, can you help me? We need to go somewhere and take pictures of this package. I just need to take pictures of all my bands, and I'm not good at it. So we got together, and he helped me. Like he immediately he was like, as soon as I get off work, we'll go take as many pictures as you want and get it all fixed up. So we
that's
did.
awesome.
So yeah, he's definitely my best friend. He's on my team. Um, we're on Outlaw Anodizing together. The
Okay.
ones So Phil, the one who actually anodizes Dynasty's guns, runs the program.
Oh, okay.
So, um, his son was running pods with me and you, the little blonde-headed boy.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Yep,
Tyler's on my team too, that little boy. But yeah, so like we went and took all the pictures and stuff like that. But it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I can't believe it. I don't even know how to put it into words. Like all the things, for me, it was even like when it went back to the poll, everything everybody was saying in the comments, like, it just, I remember I was out partying when that poll happened, and I cried when I got a message saying, I just added you to the poll. And I'm like, what poll? What are you talking about? And they're like, they sent me a link, and I look at it, and I see, like, I already think I had like 50 votes by then and all these comments, and I was like, this is crazy.
that's
Like
awesome.
it's like it was such a like grounding experience. Like, to be because I'm just nice and like want it like everybody love everybody because that's who I am. Like I'm not expecting to get something from it. To get something from it is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
And to be seen is so exciting, to be recognized and people to know who I am. It's exciting. I didn't realize as many people knew who I was as they do, but it is what it is. It was great. It was great. It's awesome. You know, it's I've done some stuff with Ollie, like a meditation class, which really helped me. We did for 4 weeks, the Hawk, and
mm-hmm.
that helped me a lot, like with grounding emotions and stuff like that. But man, to get recognized, yeah, that was something.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. That's what I'm finding too with these interviews, because right now, I mean, eventually we would like to focus on everyone in the community. But because the bands are releasing, I've really just had only kings and queens on so far. And so it's been really humbling to just see the people like, yeah, I didn't set out to do it. I was just trying to be a good community member. And it's nice when you see the right people get recognized, and it's not a gimmick. It's not, something that not a popular, like as far as like, oh, I know someone, that's why I got it. It's like, no, you're just genuinely a good person and the community feels the same way. And that's what I think is really awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely super exciting. I mean, I gift bands too, but I usually gift them in silence. So,
Hmm.
it's like cuz I don't expect people to like if you want to like sure, but I don't expect people to post that I gave them something. Like I'm giving it to you cuz I want to give it to you.
Yeah,
Cuz I want you to be like there was a little girl that was in Young Guns that had like nothing, and I asked Alex to buy something that was girly, And I try not to use that outlet to asking, but I had to because it's like I need something girly to give this little girl
Mhm.
to buy something, and he helped me out. So
Yeah, and I'm kinda similar to where it's like I've given away 2 bands, and they've just been to people that I feel like deserved them, and I don't when I purchased the band originally or I got it, it wasn't this intent of like, I'm buying this just to give out." It was like you meet the person and they have that connection, and it's kinda like the wand chooses the wizard, it's like, "This band was yours the
yeah,
whole time. I was just holding it until you came along," and it just
absolutely,
it makes it kinda, just very special. It's like, "Oh, you identify with this, like, this is for you." Yeah.
absolutely.
And I think that's really awesome. That is really awesome. How did you feel when you learned which band was gonna be yours? Did you feel like with the colorway and everything?
I was excited because the Duke of Roses was my first band I ever landed, and I feel like that. So mine was the Iron Kids Duke of Roses Brown.
Okay.
So I felt like this was, and then the one Alex gifted me that I spoke of earlier, the Ace, was also the Duke of Roses. And I also have the Sammy because I actually knew Tom's dog, Sammy, very well. I had Sammy's trading card made.
That's awesome.
So I actually, yeah, like when Sammy died, I had already asked them to make one, but I messaged Ryan Polito, and I was like, "We've got to make that Sammy card now because, like, for Tom Cole, like it needs to be done because Sammy was such a big icon in the community." I remember one time in Excel there were lost posters posted on the toilets. It was a joke because Tom didn't bring Sammy, but
Mhm.
someone, since Tom didn't bring Sammy, they put missing dog with Sammy's picture on it. And there were strips. I can't even remember what they said on the strips to pull off, like you would a phone number, but it was a joke, and it was the whole thing was so funny because it's like we all missed Sammy that event. You
Mhm.
know, Sammy was such an icon. So I was like, when Sammy died, I was like, we've got to make. And then when the Sammy bands came out, I was like, I've got to have one. I've absolutely gotta have one of those bands, but, like, for me, yeah, definitely, I liked it because it is kind of the Duke of Roses colorway with purple is the stitching,
Mhm.
and I really like it. I think it's pretty, I think it's very me, it's very fitting, so I'm excited.
John said the same thing. I had him on the first episode and he was like, "It almost feels like this band was made for me." Even though he didn't get any choice in the colorway. He's like, the colors and everything, it feels like it was just like, Oliver was paying attention. Oliver and Alex were kind of paying attention, and he's like, it made it that much more special. It wasn't just something random like, here's your prize. Thanks for being, it just seems like there was a lot of thought and intention that went into, each band for each king and queen.
It definitely, yeah, definitely. I think they picked them purposely for us,
Hmm.
and I would also say I think mine is probably the girliest out of the band so far, which is also very fitting for me because I also like my first like real gun, not the spider, was an LB1, and I made sure I found it for 750 online. It was an LB1 pink lady with only 700 shots on it. I don't think the person knew what they were selling because I've had people offer me upwards of 3,000 for it now, but I still won't sell it.
That Pink Lady, I remember those when they came out. There were so
Mhm.
many old guns that I got rid of that I'm just like, why did I have to sell that? Because it would just
Yeah.
be like I had one of the old excessives, like the early excessive egos, and those bushwhacker. I had a bushwhacker ego, but it was like the Ronald McDonald, the solid gold with the red parts. Like there's just a couple little tidbits. I'm like,
The pink lady, I remember I was getting the dandelion tattoo on my leg when I found it on eBay, and I was like, I've got to have it. I want the boys to know they're getting shot by a girl. Gotta have that. I've gotta have that gun. So for and Fuzzy Jackson actually made me promise I would never sell the gun. That was his deal with helping teach me how to work it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I will help you if you promise me you never sell it because It's your first gun, and you will regret it if you sell that gun. Like, that gun can never go for sale, and I've kept my word, and I will never sell it even though people are offering me. That's why, like, there's posts all the time, like, people joke about it in the buy, sell, trade. I've even seen it in the Hormesis. It's normally one guy in particular who wants to buy it, who hounds me about not selling the gun or telling people, "Oh, ask Sarah to buy that, and then maybe you can sell it to me." Like, I'm not selling it, but it's like, yeah, I like that, like, people knowing that it's a girl, like, it being a
Yeah,
girl. I still like the idea of, like, I am a girl in this sport,
yeah.
but I do enjoy playing amongst the boys.
And
So,
it's really awesome to see that renaissance too, of just more women playing and having it be, WNXL, and just there are a lot more. I remember, 20 years ago, I mean, there were a lot of all women teams, I mean, the Femme Fatales, Destiny, I can remember those 10-man teams back in the day, and even like the family had, a mix of guys and girls. Like it wasn't there were some heavy hitters back then. And so it's really nice to kind of see that explode a little bit more currently.
yeah, definitely. It's exciting seeing all the women coming out now, and girls are more likely to play. And one of my teammates' girlfriends just started playing, and she's even said, like, she really liked playing with me. She's really excited. She wants my signature band for her first band. She didn't have one. I'm really sad that I can't make that happen. I just don't. Like, there's just
Hmm.
not enough of them. Like,
Yeah.
and they're already sold out. It's like, but I do have a band to crown her at practice next weekend. But, I wish I could make it my band. I know that's what she wants, but, I have only I had only played with her the one time, and then I've met her again this last weekend, and she's just, like, so excited about playing, and I love seeing that in women, like, because it's so often that I'll talk one of my girlfriends into going and we'll play rec ball, and they'll be like, "I'm never doing it again." Like, they'll get on the field and be done after the first point, and it's like, "Oh, I want y'all to like it so much, so." Like, it's really not that bad once you get out there. You just have to get brave enough to get out from behind your bunker.
Yeah. I feel like it's once you shoot your first person, and then it's
Yeah,
like, ooh, okay, yep, I'm good
yeah,
now. Like I get in that same similar situation with my wife, like because this is pretty much like my only hobby. I mean, it's the one that occupies all of my most of my free time, and so she'll come out and we'll take the van out and she'll hang out and read, and I'm like, you want to come out, like, because I started to like buy her Hormesis gear, little bits and pieces, and I'm
yeah.
like, come on. She's like, I would love to. She's like, I just don't like get shot. So it's trying to find that like that balance. I want her to shoot somebody to get that like that adrenaline, and then hopefully it kind of she'll do it a little bit more, and then I can bring her out more.
Exactly. I think with my girlfriends, what I found was, so I'm in a singles group, and I got them to go, and the girls went, and they were scared after the first one in rec ball. They didn't want to play anymore. And the field owner, I'm friends with him, and he noticed, he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Why isn't everybody playing?" He's like, "I only see four of y'all going out now." And I was like, "Well, they kind of got scared, after, because there's so many people, and getting shot at." And he's like, "I think I have an extra ref." He's like, "Why don't I just give y'all a ref and y'all just play with just y'all?" And
Yeah.
so we did that, and they were good. It was just when we had like 20 people, they weren't good. It
Yeah.
was only 10 on 10, and which we know that's small for rec ball, but
And that makes it
them,
more fun. It's like, ooh, there's people.
for them, that was like, there's too many people. But with the 10 of us, we did 5 on 5, and they were good with that. So I think if I do that again, I'll just book it like a birthday party.
Hmm.
Like, try and get 10 people, book it like a birthday party where we just play amongst ourselves, and then they'll be okay.
Yeah. Just got to get them tired of shooting each other so then they can
Right.
unleash it on other people.
Well, at least then they're more likely to shoot somebody and get that adrenaline and then want to move up. So,
That's awesome. Oh man. All right. So I know we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but besides um, your community queen band, what would you say is your favorite Hormesis band if you had to pick one? And do you own it or are you still on the hunt?
Okay. Honestly, my favorite band. I have a lot of really meaningful bands, but my absolutely favorite band, and Norris Ross and Pat McGrath can tell you because I text them both crying when I misplaced it. But and it took me a couple months to find it. It's my Sally.
Oh, okay.
My Sally. My Sally. I just love the purple. I I love the ghost. I like horror type stuff. It's not even I like J-Rab, but it's not really about J-Rab, and it's more like Sally is my favorite, Nightmare Before Christmas character. I know that's his mom's name,
That's
but
awesome.
Sally is my favorite Disney character, and so, like, I even went to a Disney Merry Christmas party just so I could meet Sally Jack and Sally, because that's the only time they come out. Like, the
That's
whole
awesome.
and I just love the design on the band. Sally is definitely my favorite. I think the most meaningful ones I have, though, I have to touch those 2 before I let you skip to the next question, would be the Luna, which Alex and Ollie gave me because I actually lost a baby in 2014,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
it's okay. I look at it as I try to look at the positives of it being a blessing versus being a horrible thing because I wouldn't be able to do half the things I did, get to do in life. And he's watching over me, but he has a star in the sky. And someone bought him a star while I was in labor, and they had no idea I was obsessed with the stars. So I'm an EMT, so it has the caduceus on it, and it also has the stars and the moon on it. And my favorite saying is, I love you to the moon and back. So
Wow.
especially, like, and it's got the stars, so it's like it's got Jacob, which is my son, and then it's got the caduceus for being an EMT, and Luna Lovegood is my favorite Harry Potter character. So it's got a lot of things
Wow.
in one thing. And so it would be that one or the pollinator that Pat McGrath gave me. So I was looking for a pollinator. I was going to pay aftermarket. I just asked Pat because I knew he knew a lot of people. Hey, have you seen one for sale yet? And Pat's like, no. He's like, but I'll keep an eye out for you. And I was like, okay. I was like, I really want to buy one. I said, I don't care what colorway it is. I just want it to have a hummingbird. Like, I mean, I'll pay whatever they're asking. I just want a hummingbird on it. That's all I care about
Yeah.
because the hummingbird represents my grandma. And he was like, okay, well, it's so funny because I told you about the Luna first because on Jacob's birthday, I was actually having a really bad day because I got in an argument with my dad. And Pat texted me, had no idea what day it was, nothing. And he messaged me and he said, I have a surprise for you. And I just sent a question mark. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I got you a pollinator. And I was like,
Wow.
how much do I owe you? All this stuff. And he's like, you don't. It's my gift to you. And then the shipping was on the day he got it at his house and shipped it out was on my birthday, less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was just crazy how the dates fell. So those two bands are definitely my most meaningful. So
And it's really amazing. I mean, to have so much connection with something, and
yeah,
it's almost like like it can't be random, like you have all these things connect into, one piece that has so much energy and intention, and it's really magical.
yeah, like how
Yeah.
it just fits. It's
Yes.
like this is just crazy how it fits. Like both of them, both of those bands, they're both my most meaningful. Probably my least worn because I don't like the fade. I'm not. I, I color lock all my bands. I don't want So
That's awesome. Oh man, and that's something. So I was next time I'd like to have you on again, and I'd like to do kind of like a band tour, and you can kind of show off your bands and your favorite ones and how you got them displayed or
yeah,
whatever.
got a bunch of them.
Yeah, and so I was talking to Jake and Sean about it, and they're like, yeah, they're like, you need to get a hold of some of the museums too. And I'm like, they are coming. I'm trying to get to everybody in the community, but like, yeah, I know some people have some pretty extensive um, Hormesis collections.
Definitely. And you said one you don't have. The one I don't have that I would love to have that I know I'll never get because I can't afford what people would even sell it for, which I don't think they'd even let it go, would be the Alice. Because I love Alice. Alice and Sloan. I absolutely love both of them.
Hmm.
Alice's little girl. We even like sent her an Alice in Wonderland blanket, me and my mom.
That's
'Cause
awesome.
Alex does so much. It's like, like, okay, like with the jersey, "You won't take my money? Fine, I'll give you a gift." Like, you know what I mean? Like it's something you can't turn around. And I remember him telling me, Alice, he sent me a picture of him and her on the teacups, and I was like, "Who's your favorite princess?" And he was like, "Alice." So it's like
Oh, that's awesome.
Alice in Wonderland. So I'm like, perfect. Like, but I absolutely love Alice, and I definitely think Alice has the prettiest bands of all of them. I just don't think it's possible to get that band. Mm.
I'm after talking with people so far, like I think one of my grail bands is the Odd Job Golden Gun.
Oh
It's like one
wow.
of my biggest like missed drops to this day. And after talking to people, I'm like, you know what? I might start looking for one. I just don't know how much it's going to cost me or how long it's going to take to find. But um, I feel like that's kind of part of it. You get to enjoy the chase, and we're currently in the hunt for a fanny pack, so that's what we're looking for right now. I've had a couple people kind of reach out on some leads, but I wanted to get one for NXL Philly, but I don't know if that's going to happen just yet. So we will see. We will see.
I know where the Alices are. I just know that they paid a lot of money for them, and I cannot afford to pay more than what they paid.
It's crazy to think too. Like some of these limited ones, like Sean was wearing a Iron Kids Aloha 1 of 6, or it was I can't remember exactly what the band was called, but it was an Iron Kids band, and it had that I don't know if it was like a Hawaii themed one. And he's like, yeah,
Oh,
we're trying to get all of them to the
Oahu.
islands.
Oahu.
Yep,
I know
absolutely.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just, to hear the stories of the chase, and why it's important, and then to hear like, oh, we're trying to keep them all in Hawaii, and it's like, oh, that's really cool.
It's the base
It's
of that series.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's just, I don't know, the stories in the community are really special
Yes.
for
I
sure.
remember, like, being at work and, okay, 2 minutes before, I gotta go to the bathroom. So, because I was in ER at that time, and it's like, you gotta go to the bathroom so you can try for this drop. Because and then you're just sitting there pushing, pushing, pushing.
And then it's like error. Or you try to do oh my goodness, what was it, like Apple Pay or PayPal, and it's like payment couldn't be processed. You're like, mother. So by the time you get around and you do it again, it's like gone.
Gone.
You're like, no. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. So speaking about drops, what would you say is your most memorable drop you've landed? And do you still have the band?
That would be my Iron Kids, um, Gold Duke of Roses, the Trident series, and that was my first band.
That's
So,
awesome.
well, technically that wasn't my first band, but that was the first band I landed on my own.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep, I still have my first one too. Like I have my first like resale band I purchased, and then my first drop I landed, and then I have this one which I won on the Spick and Span show. Even though we got him in the Champs Club last year, I won it like a month before we got him, so I ended up with two, and I gifted gifted the other one away to a teammate. But um, yeah, I feel like too they have good energy. Like when you get a band like that, it's like I don't want to waste it all. So like I'll wear it for certain occasions and then I'll put it away.
Yes. I try and wear all my bands. So none of them have really faded because I literally rotate through all of them.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what would you say is your most memorable missed drop?
That would be the Ryan Greenspan. I got that was my first band because as soon as I missed it, I saw them going up for sale and I bought the Steady Hand, which was the one I went after that I wanted so bad. And Eric Lino, who is actually in Champs Club, is the one who sold it to me. He was like, I think he was asking 400, and I was like, I can't give you that. I can give you 300. I was like, but I really, really want it. I haven't done it. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, I've got someone offering me 350. If they fall through, I'll let you know. And then he was like, you know what? He's like, he texts me a little bit later. He's like, "I really think that you're the one who wanted this really bad." He's like, "I feel like this band should go to you." And he took care of me.
That's
And
awesome.
I have that band and we're actually still really good friends because of that band. That's how we started. That's how we became friends was when he posted that on the site. It's the same way thing like Ryan Doss. We became friends because I had someone who wanted to buy a band, Lupe Levia, for his daughter Haley, who's on Destiny WNXL,
Hmm.
and he wanted to buy her a band for her graduation, and it was like, okay, I'll see what I can do because I'm good at the drops. But I landed the Trent, and Ryan Doss had the Orlando up for sale or trade, and he wanted something earthy. So I was like, I'll trade you the Trent for the Orlando because I feel like the Orlando would be better suited for her because she's podiumed in Orlando a couple times.
Oh, wow.
The Destiny, before it became the WNXL, and he was like, "Absolutely." So we traded, and then it was like the next event. Ryan came up to me when he was playing with SAC DMG on D2, and he was like, "Hey, you're Sarah, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm Ryan." He's like, "It's so nice to meet you in person. I'm the one that sold you the Orlando. I'm Ryan Doss." And like we've been friends ever since. Like
That's
Ryan,
awesome.
a cool person, but he made it to a point. I feel like even with the resells, like I've made such good friendships out of them.
Hmm.
I don't understand why people get so mad about the resells. Like, I understand, like, it sucks, like, people are making a buck, but, like, I mean, it is what it is, and a lot of these people who get mad, they've done the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's crazy too to see just like you can always tell how sought after a drop is by how crazy Facebook gets following the drop. Even leading up to it, like there's all like it starts to get a little
Yeah,
crazy, and then the drop happens, and then you see the angry people, then you see the happy people, and then it's just all these emotions for the next 24 hours.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I think you kind of pretty much just touched on it, but what would you say is your favorite part of the community?
It's definitely the family, like, how we all become friends and find ways to connect with each other, like, I'm friends with, like I'd say one of the better friendships I've made out of it also is Rob Panarella and Derek Weigel. Like, they're two of my really good friends. Me and Rob, I actually help Rob run with paintballers for the puzzle now.
Hmm.
So I played on the Tin Man, and he made me a manager of one of the lines to help him hold the thing, and he introduces
That's
me to people.
awesome.
She helps me with paintballers for the puzzle. Like, all these people, you just come like it's funny. It's like we're our own family in a family. Like I already feel like paintball is family. Like
Hmm.
this is my happy place. This is where I go to get when I go to paintball, even at the local fields, I'm at my highest. Like
Yeah.
definitely. Because I deal with depression, and I would say when I'm at paintball, that goes away. Like there's nothing, and it's just like in the Hormesis community in general, it's just like everybody loves each other. At the end of the day, people spat, but like we still all love each other. Like
Yeah.
And of course, there are some people who don't like each other, but you're gonna have that everywhere. But it's
Yeah.
just like, it's the community in itself. Like it's all about love and caring about each other and doing things. You know, it's crazy. Like when someone comes up to you and says you matter, and it's the first time you've met that person in person, but it's like all these people matter to me. Like I love the group. Like there's just so many and there's so much love in the group, and the way people take care of each other, especially when someone's like, "Oh, I need my first band or this or that." Like I really enjoy seeing all the people doing the stuff like Cody Coots to make sure people do get their first bands.
Hmm.
And MSRP man, even though he's been trolling lately. In the group of Bonchimey, he has been a mess. He's so funny. It's like, it's hilarious. It's like, but it's great to see everybody at the end of the day love one another. Like, we all get along. I've gotten added to side chats that exist because of these groups and made friends that way too. It's just like, it's just one of those things. It's just like everybody. It's one of those. We're just family. Like, and people come up to you and they go, "Oh, you're Sarah. I know you from the Hormesis group." And it's like I'm so bad with names. That's like my biggest fault. And it's like I have to go like, "Who are you?" Like, just tell me your name and I'll remember who you are. But
Yeah. Oh, I'm bad
it's
with names too. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll do the trick of introducing someone. Oh, this is so and so, and then they'll introduce themselves. Another person will introduce them back, like, "Oh, yeah, you're right. You're George. Hey, George, how's it? Yeah, I remember you. Because it's
yeah,
just so bad. I recognize you. I just, I don't know. My brain just doesn't store names as efficiently as I would like.
no.
So, do you have any memorable stories from the community that you'd want to share? Or anyone that really stands out that you feel like's a good representation of, that the wonderful place.
Well, I think my Pat McGrath story was the best one I
Yeah.
have for sure. Pat is such an amazing human. He does all this stuff. Like people just think of him for the museum, but oh my goodness, he's such a different person besides
Hmm.
that. Um, gosh, there's so many. Like it's hard to think of exactly like what else there is. I mean, there's I can say like goodness. I I don't know. Maybe let's do Steve and Patch. You know, let's do Steve and Patch because I don't feel like they get enough recognition in the Hormesis community. They don't have that many, but they're huge with Dynasty. I know you remember
Yep.
Steve and Patch from the pits.
Yep.
And Steve and Patch are like I remember my first event. So I was trying to tear the bags and pour it into the pod. He's like, "No, you have to make a hole and you wrap it around." And I'm just saying, like, they're such good people. And they took me in and like they treat me like family. Every time I've worked very many dynasty pits. And every time they take me out, we go eat.
That's
Patch is
awesome.
such a loving person. I love Patch. He brings us candy from Europe. Like, it's just like, there's just so many things. Like, um, there's so many people but I feel like those two, like, people are just like, who are they when because Steve is so active in all the chats and
Hmm.
all this stuff, and people's like, who is this Steve guy? But Steve is like this amazing like person who's worked with Dynasty for so long. And
Yes.
he's always got a positive attitude no matter how things are going. Like I remember Marcelo came in pissed and tossed his mask. And I went to pick it up and Steve and Patch were like, no, leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it. And before I like could even like react and stop, which I did, I didn't pick it up. Marcella had yelled at me. And they're like, yeah, he's like, when he gets mad, you just have to let him have his side, let him get angry, and then let him cool off. Just leave it alone.
Space and
But
grace.
it's and grace. But the definitely I mean, there's just like, I see so many people taking care of other people. Like, it's hard to pick just one person. Like Steve likes anytime he gets anything dynasty, like I see him preach in the Champions Club too. Like if he doesn't like his gift, he just goes and finds a little kid that likes dynasty and he gifts it to him.
Yeah.
And he tells them this is from Dynasty. Or he's about going like with the extra paint. Like, of course, if we're gonna play, they give us the leftover paint. But if we're not gonna play, Steve wants to take that paint over to the divisional fields and tell the teams this is from Dynasty to you. We hope you have a great tournament. Here's some paint.
That's awesome.
Like that's like Steve's thing. Like Steve is all about giving. But people don't know that, like
Yeah.
they don't know Steve like that. Like it's one of those things, but there's just so much like things. Like I even went in the Hormesis and they were like, here, Kevin was like, Sarah, I put this shirt to the side for you and gave me a shirt, in a water bottle.
Wow.
Like it's like, there's so many people like it's just everybody loves everybody. And it's just that's kind of that's like my motto. So that's why I like this community so much. It's like everybody loves everybody. Like there's even a person that I don't love in the community. I'm not going to say his name. He knows why. He knows why. But he in he understands because he did something that was very big. But it's he even like when I got the community key, he made sure to message me and he said, "You really earned this." And it kind of softened my heart a little bit towards him. It
Yeah.
takes a lot for me not to like someone, but it definitely softened my heart that like he would even, at least try and reach out and say,
Yeah.
I know we don't get along, but congratulations, you really deserve this. If anyone earned this, it was definitely you. I'm really excited to see that you got it.
That's
You know,
awesome.
all this stuff. So like, but it's definitely like the community. Like, there's just there's so many things. It's hard to say who's done what. Derek walks around and hands out bands willy nilly at events. He has a backpack full of them,
Just
and
makes it rain.
it's just he's picky about who he gives them to. It's like you said, the wand picks the wizard,
Yeah.
but he goes for people who don't have them, and he's very very like I mean, a lot of people know Derek obviously is not hurting and he takes that money and does stuff for other people. Like
Yeah.
it's not like, I know he showed up at an event in a Rolls Royce, but he doesn't just make it about him. He makes it about helping other people and making people know. Like I let Wayne borrow my tank at Cup 2021. And for some reason they packed up my bag because I went to the porta potty. I came back and I didn't even think about it. I just figured they put my tank in there. I realized my tank wasn't in there like an hour later, and I was like, oh no. So I'm trying to find Wayne. I can't find Wayne. By the time I found him, he was like, oh, I gave your tank to Derek. And I'm like, Derek lives in New Jersey. Like, uh, and Wayne's like, oh, I thought y'all live close to each other because y'all are friends. I figured he'd take care of it. And somehow my tank got left in Florida. Derek left it at the team house. And it was a whole
Uh,
thing. But Derek went out of his way to buy me a nice, new, expensive tank And I was like, "Well, this really isn't your fault. I just want my tank back, my spare tank." And he's like, "It's okay." He's like, "I'd rather just replace it and give you a good tank." He's like, "And I'm still gonna work on getting you that tank back because that tank was actually a tank that I got from Yaya."
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, Yaya is one of my buddies too. I actually have Yaya's 2020 Deluxe that he got a 5-pack with from World Cup.
That's cool.
So, me and Yaya are pretty close friends too. So it's like, but it's like it's one of those things like that's the whole thing about paintball though in general is like the community. Like it really is. It's like it's all family. Like there's so many stories it's hard to tell because everybody loves everybody. Like for the
Yeah.
most part, you have your issues, especially when it comes to the refs and the players, but
Hmm.
they usually get over that too.
Yeah, once you leave the nets,
Yeah.
Yeah,
As soon as
absolutely.
you leave the pit, you're okay. It's just being in the pit.
Is there anything that you would like to see Hormesis come out with or collab with, or anyone you like to see them work with?
Uh, I would like to see Hormesis come out with more girl stuff. Being a girl, I'm gonna say like tank tops.
Hmm.
I get they have tech tees and they have t-shirts, but like there's so many wives and girlfriends
Yep.
and like do some girly stuff and then there's girl players. Do some do some stuff for us, like make it a make it a thing for us, like
Yeah.
like I love it. Like I have a tech tee. The one that Kevin and Chris Alt gave me was like the girliest of the tech tees. It's that gray one with the pink writing.
Hmm.
And I love it. I wear it all the time. But like yeah, like I think it would be cool to see and the same thing for the Champs Club. Some things like, you send like guy t-shirts and like for me and Maggie, like have a different cut or something
Yeah.
like, like, because like and I get it. It's a male dominated sport, but there's still like I would definitely say like the wives and girlfriends and the girl players like do some stuff
Yep.
like do some stuff for them as well. And that's kind of why I like having the girly band too, like the Duke Roses and then the purple and also the purple look. I said the Sally's my favorite band, so there you go. It's got that purple overlay.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's kind of like a combination of the two. So,
That's awesome.
but definitely, yeah, like I would think like some more like, I know there's so many guys, but some girly things would be cool.
Yeah, each of those guys out there buying Hormesis, like you said, has a wife or girlfriend,
Exactly.
and I mean, I could see it going just as quick, like you said, like the Razorbacks or the tank tops or the shorts or, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And more plus size stuff because they're not all skinny. The boys and the girls need more plus size stuff because
Yeah.
I know that there's guys that have asked me, "Can you please try and go to the tent and get me plus size stuff because they advertise they're gonna have it." And it's already gone. Or like I mean, it seems like that's something that's not sold as much
Yeah.
or it sells out quicker.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And sometimes too, it can be hard, like I've found, especially with jumpsuits in particular, because you're buying things so quick to find the right size.
Yes.
Like sometimes it seems like they run a little big in certain things. So it's like I buy one thing and I'm like swimming in it. It's like, when I grow up to be a real boy, I'm gonna fit into this thing. But for now, it's like, but then you don't want to buy something too small because then that's like your only chance to get it. So it makes it tricky.
It does for sure.
Yes. We need to get a bunch of people and make a field trip to the Hormisa store in Bali. That's what needs to happen. I can't imagine the treasures there.
So does he actually have a store? Is that what all he says?
Well, that's what. So on all their advertisement, they started to do. I think I saw some stuff on Instagram, and it has employees working in the store, and they did a full on like shoot, and it's like a men's apparel store.
Oh, I must have missed that. But
Yeah,
see, they add women's apparel. I'm gonna message Ollie and tell him that. Now that you said that, I'm gonna message Alex and Ollie both.
yeah, I think it's specifically men's apparel,
Yes.
but it's everything. I mean, it's everything that they ship stateside plus from what I've seen. There's one because I've been trying to find a fanny pack for my dad, and I'm looking for a blue one. And one of the guys in the group, I guess, lives close, and he's going to the store in the next couple days for a friend, and so he said he would look for me. But yeah, apparently they're supposed to have a lot of stuff. I've just seen the videos, but it's like everything, button
I
downs, all that.
I'd be 100%. Let's go to Bali. My my only thing is just we have to do like meditation, like guru stuff too, like
Yeah,
that.
no, yep, absolutely. I was hoping I want Ollie because I missed his the hawk course, and I wanted to
Correct.
do it really bad. And so I was wondering if he was. I messaged him. And he's like, yeah, maybe. It's like you gonna do another one. He's like, I don't know, maybe. I was like,
I hope he does another one. I would do it again
yeah,
in a heartbeat. And like he gave us all hawk headbands. So that's even like the day I knew I was going to meet him at Cup, I
mm-hmm.
wore the headband, the
That's
hawk
cool.
to meet him because it was like that class meant so much to me. But you had to go to all the classes to get the headband. So some
Gotcha.
people were frustrated about that because if they weren't there the last day, they didn't get one.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
But it's like it was kind of his thing, but it's like it wasn't about the fact that you paid for the class. It was that you achieved your goal,
Mm-hmm.
what you do. And he gives you a diet. He wants you to journal. He has you do all this stuff during the week. We're just talking about it on Sunday, where we've come from what he's taught us to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's very, very cool. It was a
Yeah,
very grounding, very helpful class. I would 100% be down to do it again.
awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping he does another one. I think I'm gonna hopefully try to meet him. I think he's playing NXL Mid Atlantic, from what I've
I
heard.
I've heard rumors. Yes, he's. I don't think he's on the roster yet, but that probably won't happen till the last minute.
Yeah, I saw because Project posted a custom force that Oliver's
Correct.
using, and it was like a galaxy with the project inlay, and I want to get a force so bad, and I've heard that they're coming out with project one, so I'm trying to wait. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, as soon as I commit to one, they're gonna come out with the project ones, and then I'm gonna kick myself. So I'm trying to like be patient and just wait. But it was cool to kind of um, see it in real, oh, not in real life, but kind of.
It's funny you say that because like Archie gave me a project barrel sock, and that's like my good luck barrel sock. Like I've gotten, I think, 2 wins with it now.
Mm-hmm.
2 first places with it, so, like, I try not to use any other barrel saw.
Yeah, there's certain magic in things like this one. Um, I got off the Spick and Span show, and it's got magic in it. It's got that pro magic. So I try to not like
Yeah.
I pull it out for certain things. Like I wore the what is it, the Cosmos, when I worked the pits for the Dynasty win, and so that one I feel like that's got magic in it too. So like that's a so yeah, it's really cool.
The one you're wearing is Uranus' favorite band. He wore it until it, like
I saw it started to kind of
Mhm.
like peel
Yeah.
and
He still wore it all the way until it was all peeled. Mhm.
yeah, these have been I've this is one I kind of saved because I've gotten some really good shots with this one. Like where my snapshot has just been on, you're like, ooh, okay, yep.
Yeah, it's on
Hold you
point, yeah.
away and put this away. Yep, I'm gonna leave that. All right. So my last question for you today, and I appreciate you taking the time. Is there any advice that you would like to pass on to listeners that are new to the Hormesis community?
I would just say, like, remember that the community is about love. Don't be don't let it get you down if you miss your drop. Like when the time is right, like we've said before in the The wand chooses the wizard, so you just have to be patient.
Yeah.
You will get your band, and there's so many people out there, like, you've got Cody right now that's very active helping people. I know there's some other MSR people, Mayan and Sean, like, someone will help you. You just have to ask, like, if I don't even go after the drops a lot nowadays, but if you really want a band and you see something that you really want, if you reach out to me or someone else who's in the group that, may not be going after that drop, or you just post in the page, like, is there someone not going after the drop that can help me? We will help you get the band.
That's awesome.
We will help you do it. Just tell us, give us a heads up and someone will help you do it. Like, but you just have to be patient. When you get the first band, you'll know. Like, I was disappointed when I was missing too. I tried at least 3 times before I finally was successful and got the trident. But know, like, once you get that first band, you're like, oh, it makes sense now why I missed those other drops.
Yeah.
But you just have to, remember, like, and we all love one another. We're all keen to help. Pat McGrath is a good one to help reach out to also for help to get you something. He can find you something or help you with the drop or something like that. Just reach out to us.
Yeah.
We're all nice. We all respond.
Engage and be present, and just the community is there, and that's awesome. That's great advice. Well, that is all of the questions I have for you today. I appreciate you taking the time, truly, and helping us out with this project. And congratulations again on your crown and community queen is well deserved. Do you have any closing thoughts, or would you like to say anything before you head out for the day?
I just want to say thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm glad we became friends so long ago. When you asked me, I actually was like, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was super excited, especially like you being my friend. Usually, I think I would be. I'm super shy, so I might have been a little shy to do this, but I knew I'd be comfortable since it was with you. So I was excited to do it. So you helped bring me out of my shell
I
and
appreciate
do it.
that.
So I'm excited and really excited to be a queen and to be recognized. And I hope that I can maintain that status by, like I said, somebody needs help, like reach out to me. I'll help you. I don't mind. There's um there was one guy I noticed really wanted my band for his first band. So I felt I don't know. It just really, there's some stories that really tug on your heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I actually saw the post from someone else that it was someone in Alaska who doesn't have a band and just got back into paintball. And they're like, look, you're getting love from Alaska. They weren't trying to tell me so I would feel bad for the guy, but I did. So I paid attention and he missed the drop. So I did make sure to set one aside for him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like, I was like, I'm gonna make sure that guy gets because it was just different, it was a different story, but it was just like everything he posted and like what he wanted, and I was like, but I wish I had enough to take care of everybody, but I don't. But
Yeah,
I will definitely help y'all. So like we we all love you and we just want to help you. So,
absolutely.
and I'm really glad to call you my friend. So anyways, I'm gonna go to the baseball game today with one of my fellow paintballers and represent Star Wars.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for just being such a friendly face and for being my friend as well, and just taking the time to help with this project. I really do appreciate it. And again, thank you for being such a wonderful pillar in the community and a well-deserved community queen. And I just thank you.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy the game. Have fun
I
today,
will.
and we'll see you in the
Astros.
community. Astros. See ya.